We've all been there, right? We build these beautiful websites. We fill it with all of our content. We even get the old SEO guy to give it the 2 thumbs up, make sure that everything on there is optimized for organic search. And then 6 months later, crickets. Absolute crickets. No new sales. Not only is Google not ranking our site, but ChatGPT is recommending the other guy, the competitor. What does our competitor know about good content that we don't? My name's Nick Fraunfelder, and I am the CEO of Sure Oak Digital Marketing. And we help companies or people just like you get found on the internet and drive more organic leads, not just by the search engines, but by the AI, LLM models. Think ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, you know the drill. And what I want to cover today is the 5 most common SEO and AISO content mistakes that you're making on your website. And we're going to give you the fix for each of them. All right, before we get there, I want to set the stage a little bit. You probably have noticed that Google has not looked the same as of late. Most valuable piece of real estate on the search engine result page, or the SERP, is now given to AI overviews. AI is pervasive and is dominating search right now. It is a channel that we must master and that we have to be relevant on, not just on the Google algorithms. The second thing that you need to notice is that consumer behavior has changed. You probably do it yourself. You don't start in the search engine anymore. You start within the chat prompt of ChatGPT and you do your research. And you start with a conversation about buying new accounting software, what to look for, and you go deeper and deeper. And then you might even ask the chat who they recommend you should be talking to. And then I go over to Google and I start going through the individual pages, often through direct search. This is an entirely new paradigm, and it's a new way, an organic channel for you to get noticed by your potential buyers. Google used to be the only game in town. But now the world is open up to us as millions and millions of people are looking for business solutions on AI models as well as the search engines. I want to encourage you to check out some of Sure Oak's other content, particularly as it relates to what's different about AISO. We have lots of web pages and resources for you. And if you're a B2B SaaS company or a services company, we are happy to help. And if you want to schedule a free consultation with us, we can do a discovery call. We can see if we are a fit. But lastly, we will give you an insights deck about how your business is running with actionable items for you to hit low-hanging fruit to improve your website, improve your content and your ranking, not just by AI, but also on Google itself. All right, I'm done pitching. Let's dive in. Mistake number 1, keyword stuffing, writing for robots, and other SEO hacks. Yeah, I know, you've heard this one before, but it's still a problem. There is a lot of lazy people out there doing SEO work. They're always looking for shortcuts, hacks, just to get their content to the top of the pile. The problem with these hacks is they have a short-term bump in traffic, but the long-term, they always drop off, and I'll explain why. The logic behind keyword stuffing is that you have these queries happening in the search bar called keywords, and we're going to keep saying that keyword over and over again, hoping that the algorithm, by math itself, will pick it up. This sometimes as a temporary bump, but Google's gotten a lot more sophisticated. They're a smart company. They are training their models via algorithms and artificial intelligence to look for content that is appealing to humans. Get that? Robots advocating for human content. So what they're looking for is natural language. And when we use the same term over and over again, it deems it non-natural language. So Google will then penalize that site or that page specifically, or de-emphasize it within the search results. It marks it as spammy, and that's a no-no. Google and the major AI models such as ChatGPT and Perplexity prioritize this natural language mindset to demonstrate authority, organization, and relevance. It's basically prioritizing what humans would like to read. So let's dive into an example. Here is a really useful piece of content. I copy and pasted the web page into a Google Docs just to protect the identity of the site, because I don't want to bag on anybody. But the problem here is that they use the keyword SaaS SEO over 50 times. Now, it's only a 5,000 word article, and it's got some really good information. But the problem now is that Google's going to read this and see the word repeated over and over again, and it's going to be marked as non-natural language. So keyword stuffing on an individual page is bad. But what happens a lot of times is we use the same keyword on all kinds of other pages across our website. And this leads to cannibalization. So what is happening is Google is looking at your website. It's got the keyword over here and it's got the keyword over here. So that gets a little traffic and that gets a little traffic. So overall search volume is down. Again, if you're not on page 1 for these search terms, you're really in no man's land. And so you want to make sure that you put all your content and your authority within one page itself. So what's the fix? Well, we use a technique called keyword mapping. And what keyword mapping does, it helps you strategize about your entire website on a page-by-page basis. We'll step back and we'll think about our lead generation journey and our strategy and what each page is trying to say to our potential buyers about how they should convert. Content mapping is a very simple but very powerful concept and framework for you to organize your content and start writing impactful content on your website. It starts with picking your core pillar keywords. These are your most valuable keywords, and less is more here. So if you're like a sales and marketing professional for your B2B SaaS company, you probably know right off the top of your head the most powerful keywords that lead to lead conversion. So we're gonna start with those. Once you have the pillar keywords in place, you start adding sub keywords. If you have a tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs, they actually have tools to help you automate this, but you can do it on your own. But if I were to show you what SEMrush can do, you can see it takes your core keywords or your pillars, and it then starts mapping them with sub keywords all around it. So over here, SEO agency for SaaS companies, it automatically is going to give me some of those subs. You probably could have figured it out on your own. But what does this do for me? Well, now I have alternative language, semantically natural language that now I can add to my content on my webpage. And also, the bonus is it gives me other topical ideas for new service pages or blogs that I should be writing in support of my pillar keywords. So you remember that example of SaaS SEO as a pillar keyword? Well, we did something similar, but we took a slightly different bend on it. So this is our blog post, creating a winning SaaS SEO strategy. And you can see it's highly engaging. We sprinkled in the pillar keywords as well as the secondary keywords so that it looks semantically natural. And if you look at the page, it's probably something that the robot would deem as suitable for a human audience. I want to show you another example. This is a Shuro client, Stack Technologies, and they rank for landscaping estimating software. So as you can see on their service page, specifically for this keyword, they use natural language. Again, notice how visually engaging it is. Lots of clear calls to action because this is a page where the potential buyer is wanting to actually schedule a call with sales. So that's fix number 1, using keyword mapping. Mistake number 2, chasing traffic, not conversions. I know this sounds like a no-brainer, but we all get enthralled with more traffic to our site. But when that traffic doesn't lead to any new sales, well, we got to put away our temptation and start doing the hard work. I got to be honest. Getting your web page to get more traffic really isn't that hard. Getting sales, that's the hard work. Here's what I mean that getting traffic isn't hard. Here's a blog post we wrote, and it's not a highly engaging site. It is, what is the difference between crawling and indexing? Well, this isn't hitting our target customer, but it is for the technically curious who want to know how search works. So for us, it's an informational piece of content that we gave back to the community because we want to be relevant. And the reason it ranks well is because there's not much written on the internet about this particular topic. So we do tend to get a lot of traffic because it does rank page 1. And I'm not saying this type of content is bad. Like I said, we just wanted to give back to the community and write about something that we thought was pertinent. But if you are getting a lot of traffic for your high value keywords and conversions still aren't happening, you may want to look to see if your pages are matching search intent. What do I mean? Let's say you're a software company that sells cybersecurity software. What happens if someone comes to your site with very high buying intent, but instead of a call to action to talk to someone in sales, they are bombarded with information about different compliance frameworks and the latest news in NIST or CMMC standards. They were looking for features and benefits on the software and to schedule a call, but it's not there. So they went to the competitor. This is called a bounce. And your bounce rate is when someone visits and interacts with only a single page of your website. They came, they saw, they bounced. This is a metric tracked by your Google Analytics, and the first thing to do is look at your service pages where you make all your money and see if you have adequate traffic, but then check your bounce rate. If it's over 50%, you might want to start considering looking at the tone and the structure of the page to see if it's actually converting and making sales on your behalf. If your bounce rate's over 80%, you might want to consider scrapping the whole page and starting over. So what's the fix for high traffic, low conversion, high bounce rate? Well, we use another framework called funnel. It's a technique for matching your web page content and structure and architecture to match the intent of the keyword of the searcher that got them there. That's a mouthful. What is it? I made this chart in ChatGPT, but it's giving the 4 intent types as defined by Google. This will help you pick better keywords and also help you match your intent of your page to the keyword that got the searcher there. So from top to bottom, you have your informational searches. The interesting thing about people seeking information is that they're not actually going to the websites hardly at all anymore. Still happens, but most of that is happening within the AI prompts. So if you've seen traffic drop dramatically on your site, it's largely because you might be a high informational type site, editorial in nature. The second is navigational. They are looking for specific sites. So if you want to type Sure Oak right into the search bar, you want to go directly to my site, we call that branded search. It's great, but it's a different type of marketing. The third and fourth are the most important. You got your commercial. This is where we're investigating products. We're comparing products. These are where your pricing pages are very, very powerful. They want to see how you stack up against the competition, feature for feature, benefit for benefit. And the last is your money making, your service pages. These are your transactional intent searches. These users are ready to make a purchase, complete a task, take an action. They have a clear goal. They want to talk to sales. So let's not make it hard on them. So how do we make good service pages that match intent? Well, we got an example for you. This is Sure Oak client Coro Data in California. We love them. But they are a document management company that has worked with Sure Oak for over 3 years. And when we started working with them, they wanted to drive more leads to their document shredding service line. And we helped them rank #1 for their geo. How? Well, we focused on content that matched the transaction and the intent. So if you can look at their page, most of the time people are getting to this page by searching, where can I get documents shredded? And Google will direct them to this page. And you can see there's call to actions, there's engaging content like I've mentioned before on other sites, and it's very, very easy to read. You can tell it's a transaction site. So as a rule of thumb, always start with your service pages and make sure that it matches the intent of the buyer who actually visits the site. All right, on to mistake number 3, thin content. Well, thin content is content that lacks depth. With the advent of language learning models, we have noticed that AI is favoring the highest authority. And if you don't have the highest authority, you have to demonstrate the highest expertise. So this requires a lot of research and comprehensive overviews of why you're the expert and why you should be chosen as the content to present on the AI overviews, or even within the SERP results right now. It used to be you could get away with little blog posts, constantly writing about certain topics like this one. But the problem, this is an article about AI overviews, but it just lacks depth and it doesn't go further. It does not give any supporting documentation, no original research, no demonstrated expertise. So what happens? AI, search engines, they'll ignore it, or they'll definitely de-emphasize the site. It's not informative, it's not comprehensive. Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, think about it. They have 1.1 billion web pages that they're trained on or have the ability to crawl. In addition, there are 250,000 new web pages are created every day. So why would these models recommend this content if they've seen it before? They won't. So think about it this way. With AI being trained on all this data, or Google searching all of these web pages, if it sees anything redundant, it has to have a mechanism for deciding which content gets put on the top of the stack, or which one it's going to choose to use for its summaries. It's going to favor the sites that have the most authority or demonstrate the most expertise. So if you're writing the same thing as New York Times, well, they probably have higher authority than you, so they're going to rank higher. So your content's not getting noticed because it's duplicative. You're not saying anything new. So what's the fix? Well, you got to go deeper. We call it in-depth valuable content. And I'm going to give you a new acronym. While it's hard to get your content noticed in very competitive fields, you can still create comprehensive content that fully answers the keyword or the search query. This is a game of quantity and quality. It's hard work. It's lots of research. And it's what separates the content winners from the content losers. But it's not a mystery. So remember that what Google gives us content guidance on. It's EEAT. Expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness. Do not ignore this concept. And I'll let you in on a little secret. This concept, if you write for authority and show your expertise, it works for AI as well. But there is something I want to mention about AI. Bigger is better, but it has to be good. We have noticed that longer, in-depth pages do better with AI than smaller pages. If it's going to recommend a site or a piece of content in its chat response, it's going to be from sites that demonstrate the most in-depth authority on a topic. But I want to give you a new acronym. We call it NEAT, over the EAT model. We placed an N in front of EEAT for niche or new content. So you have the ability to do surveys, you need to showcase that. If you are highly customized for a specific niche in the market and you can take generic content and bring it down to the niche level, this works with AI overviews. To give you an example how niche strategies or new strategies really work, I want to go back to that previous example. Remember that very competitive, valuable keyword, SaaS SEO? And I showed you that blog post that we wrote that had secondary keywords and it was mapped out, was very engaging. Well, guess what? We did such a comprehensive job on that blog, making it so unique for SaaS and the industries that we serve. And it was so well researched that it's actually recommended as the top result within the AI overview. Not bad. So don't be intimidated if there's a lot of content already out there within your industry. Just take your angle on it. Think about good writing and what's your approach. And out of the 1.1 billion web pages for your particular topic, why should the search engines and the AI overviews pick your content? All right, on to mistake number 4. Walls of content. You've seen it before. Long paragraphs. They're hard to read. Humans don't like them. And guess what? If humans don't like them, neither will the robot. You have 3 seconds to keep that person on your web page. So let's make it count. If your website looks a lot like this and it's hard to read and I can't get the information out as quickly as possible, well, AI and Google are going to ignore it. So to fix walls of text, you need to optimize your web pages. So we call it the textbook technique. If you're old enough in high school, you might remember the old textbook. Had the table of contents, had the titles, had the headers, had the glossary, had those little call out boxes for the important concepts. Well, that's the way that you need to structure your web pages as well. Those items were invented for a reason, and it's a methodology that works. I would say if you're looking for very quick fixes, I would make sure that your headers are clear. I would shorten or break up large paragraphs of text, and I would use lots of visuals just to increase the engagement. This is one of my favorite examples of a highly organized, well-crafted web page. This is BeFree. They make amazing email templates. And they did an article on why Pardot users choose BeFree for better email design. It's highly engaging, lots of text. It's got this table of contents on the left, and it's got a video, highly engaging right in the middle. As a bonus, they even put an AI overview chat prompt in the page itself. So guess what? That page ranks. And why it ranks is because of the structured content and improving the indexing and ranking that they get from the AI and from the search algorithms itself. And it's what humans really want, and they appreciate the extra effort. The 5th mistake that we see is that web pages aren't doing the necessary backend work to optimize for algorithm or AI training methodologies. What do I mean by this? Almost every engagement that we do here at SureOak, we have to do some remediation to the schema markup within the web page. What is the schema markup? Well, it's back-end code. It's embedded code actually within the HTML so that it's standardized. The other item that we see is that the AIs and Google itself, they want to do more overviews and they want more snippets. They're looking for sound bites about how to define key concepts. So within the keyword itself, there are probably key terms that want to be defined or actually explain what is actually being presented. And most web pages ignore this. The fix here is easy. There are tools for schema markup and remediation, and there's developers very reasonably who can fix this for you really quickly. Depending on how big your site is, it's not a huge check to write. The other is most sites fail to put in an FAQ section. FAQ is the easiest way to get into overviews and into the snippets. You've seen FAQs. They are super helpful for not just humans, but for the bots and the AI training models to actually read quickly and provide summaries for core concepts and frequently asked questions to the search. I want to show you another SureOak client example. This is GuidePoint Security. Within their FAQs, they explain really clearly what application architecture security review is. And it's one of the top 5 results within the AI overview, what it's recommending, where it's pulling that data from. So this is a very powerful concept. Don't miss it. That's it. You did it. 5 common mistakes and 5 fixes. Now, we're going to review, and it's going to turn into a 5-point checklist so that you can look at your content and see if you can help your website rank higher organically. Point 1, write for intent, not just volume. So skip the traffic chasing keywords and focus on lead conversion. Use terms that match where the users are in the funnel, especially those bottom of the funnel transactional keywords that lead to conversions. Number 2, prioritize natural language. No more keyword stuffing. Please use pillar keywords and sub keywords to make the content more impactful and more natural. Make your copy sound like a human wrote it. Number 3, go deep, not thin. Do the hard research. Ditch the vague 300-word summaries. Aim for well-researched, experience-based content that demonstrates why you're the experts on this particular topic. Number 4, design for readability and AI optimization. Short paragraphs, clear headings, add visuals, tables, screenshots, make it skimmable and make it scannable. Number 5, clean up the back end. Include a schema markup, FAQs, and direct answers. Serve your content in the format that Google and AI favors. That's it. Thanks for watching. We so appreciate it. If you need any other help, we are here to chat. Check out our website. You can schedule a free discovery call. If you want to check out our other resources, we have everything from on-page SEO to off-page SEO, pay-per-click, anything that you can think of. Thank you for your time, and we will see you on the internet.